Changing the world. It's such an easy thing to say. We see it on posters, we see it thrown at us. We go to concerts, and that's what I did for many years. Come to us. We can change the world. Go to our rock concert, go to our fun run. But after the run, after the concert, what do they tell you? Change is up to you. After a while, I started thinking, why are they telling us so much about awareness? Awareness about the forests, awareness about hunger. For 20 years, we're talking about awareness, but where is the action? And when I went back from school, I thought that my education was actually the solution. I took up urban planning. I loved the fact that I was going to go back and make some changes. And I had these ideas from a lot of the charities in the world. Home for all, food for all, education for all. But it was only when we were faced with one of the largest storms a week after I arrived, did I realize how the model didn't work. Ondoy hit my city, and 60% went underwater. And for the next 2 weeks, you would see a lot of the organizations come in, bring in food, bring in medicines. But after 2 weeks, when the cameras were closed, you would see very little volunteers, and sometimes you would see not even an aid worker. And so I started to see how sometimes aid was not exactly the way to solve the world. How can you solve a problem that's escalating like climate change when the way they taught us about charity was to meet problems linearly? When 100 people are hungry, you give them 100 baskets of food. Next week, 200 people are hungry, 200 baskets of food, and so on. For a growing problem, you need a growing solution. Everything about urban planning that I knew went out the basket. Buildings become islands. Electricity is cut, water is cut, and everything has to be provided. And even worse, they just gather everyone and then put them in a refugee center. You could do this once, but try doing it every 2 years when the city floods. And one of the things that this food and drink and medicine came in was in drums. And we said, couldn't we do something to all those clothes that were getting dirty, that were dirty because of the floods, and all those that were getting dirty and causing this kind of heightened diseases? And so we took those drums, and basically we started hiring the people there. How come the people that are displaced are the people that are shoved aside, and then people come in and donate, and then after all the donations are gone, they leave? We said, why not use the people there, not only to solve their own problems, but maybe to solve a problem they can bring back after the disaster.
Nangyayari, pag roll, yung mga damit is tumatama sa kabila. So may mga pipes din siya para mas matamaan siya. So mas maganda yung hugas.
And so not only did we start something for the center, but it started out to be a social enterprise that went into the hundreds, if not 200 washing machines that we gave to the city afterwards. The World Bank stated that 2,700 classrooms were destroyed by Ondoy. So how do you rebuild when cement, steel, and glass was just so expensive? Maybe we could do a few, but not 2,700. So what we were saying is, what if the biggest problem that caused the floods by jamming the canals could also be its greatest solution? If you're going to change the world, as a young person, first of all, you don't have the money. So you cannot buy imported stuff. You cannot just spend your money. You have to make sure that 1 minus 1 is not 0, but 1 minus 1 is 1 plus 1 is 2. You have to find a way where your money is stretched to the most. And one of those things that we saw in the rural area and in the city that was flooded was this plastic bottle. And the people that were collecting this plastic bottle, we were saying, maybe instead of putting them on the sidelines and making them, just those people that are the beneficiary, what if we make them those people that will help work and restore them? Why not make the people in the landfill the contractors? That way, we don't just rebuild, but we rebuild leaving the money behind to the community. And so we gathered our friends, and we gathered the people that were displaced, and we started filling it up with something really simple. Mud, 35% clay, washed it with water so that it would flow inside the bottles easily. And then when it dried, we would just top it off with a little bit of cement, and we would get more friends to top it off and cap it out with a little cement. But, you know, this would be an alternative to the bricks that was actually too expensive to reconstruct these schools. And the nice thing there is, even if you mix cement with a little bit of bird feathers, what happens is you start having an alternative for steel bars. It creates a mesh to hold the cement together. And we were building at half the cost because it was so much thicker, even with the heavy winds. The next couple of years, we would make sure that it was stronger. 12-inch walls filled with soil would keep out the tropical heat. And so the nice thing there is it was something that not only we could do, but we could share with other young people who wanted to make a difference, not because they had trucks, not because they had foreign aid, but it is because with two human hands, when you give it to the hands of the youth, you give solutions to the hands of the youth, you come up with the most important change of all. A huge number of people not only wanting change, but now can be part of that change. And this school with great design, not only is it beautiful, but it's larger, airier, and you know, even the front, instead of flat glass, we used rum bottles. Every week, enough plastic bottles are thrown away from most towns to build a classroom. Every 2 days, 1 billion plastic bottles all over the world is consumed. Most of it in the developing world, but it's not recycled. Can you imagine what change can happen with just simple technologies? Modern design, but affordable, and at the same time, groundbreaking. This was the change that was important to us. Why? Because we had another dream. If we were going to make change, we were going to make big change. We would not go village by village by village, but had the most powerful tool that was not available to traditional kinds of NGO, which was the internet. If we could figure out something so simple that with a couple of dollars and simple tools, but at the same time, something that was a business to the people that you taught, this would make the change. When we made those schools, one of the things that we did was we built a wall full of plastic bottles with water, and this allowed the light inside the classrooms. You would think that just because you design a classroom and put light when it's dark and fans when it's hot, you would think that it would be turned on, but no. The teachers don't have enough amount of money, even for their late salaries, but even to run the school. So most of it are shut down. So what we did was go back to one of the most available resources we had, a plastic bottle. You consume it for about 10-15 minutes, but it lasts 1,000 years. Take that plastic bottle, put a couple of tools in a hand of a carpenter or a student or a small young volunteer organization, and you could make a difference. And this is what we did.
Itong lugar namin, Sitio Maligaya 2, San Vicente, San Pedro, Laguna.
Siyempre, alam mo naman, ganitong lugar, squatter area, tabing release, dikit-dikit ang bahay.
Madilim talaga rito sa lugar ko na to.
Wala kami dito sa loob, lagi kami sa labas. Nadadapa kasi madilim, yung dadaan mo, hindi mo alam, may nakaharang.
Tutulog na lang ako, lailaw eh.
Ang tawag nila sa akin dito si Mang Dimi Solar. Napaliwanag ko yung mga bahay nila madilim. Bubutas ka ng yero, lalagay mo yung bote, lagyan mo siya ng sealant, bago lagyan mo siya ng tubig na mineral, lagyan ng sunrocks. Bago kabit mo sa bahay, lagyan sealant mo para hindi tumulo. Ganun lang kasimple yun. Dati yung ganito, tukadilim nung bago pagkapitan. Ngayon, nung kapitan ko na, ito na ang liwanag niya. Yan ang liwanag.
Pumili po ako kasi bote lang, tubig. Maliwanag na yung bahay mo.
Umaba yung ano ko, binayaran ko ngayon. Simula nung makapitan ako dito. At saka itong solar bottle bulb na to, hindi mainit.
Dahil sa buti na yan, sa solar na buti na yan, gumanda ang araw namin.
Ang nalagyan na namin ito ay bali 643. Gusto nga namin tuloy-tuloy para marami nga matulungan mga tao rin na yung maliwanagan mga bahay nilang madidilim.
Parang katulad na rin ng bumbilya. Dati natin nakakalimutan at pakinabangan na ngayon.
Maliwanag na yan sa bahay namin!
But the vision was, we did not want to do one by one by one. What we wanted to do was change the world. What we wanted to show is young people can be part of the change. How come it has to be people in power, people with a big last name, people who are connected? What we wanted to show is anyone can make this difference, because we didn't say that a solar bulb would change the world, but the point is, if we can help millions of people, then it will open up to the avenue to young people to dream bigger, to come up with something better. When we taught people how to do it, it did extend and create businesses. And later on, we realized when mayors and we had large groups order 10,000 and more, we started putting it in jail cells. And the nice thing there is every time we lit up a house, we would take a nice picture and we would put it in the jail. Put a text number on all the posts of the electrical posts, and we said, do you want a free light? And we got their addresses. And so what we did was we asked people, please come in. We will give you the address, but you have to buy these tools. Can you help us install? And we had almost 2,000 people come over. And they had addresses, and they took their bikes and the solar bulbs and went to those addresses and went to 17 cities in 30 communities on bikes with lights and changed a whole city in 2 days. What's interesting is within the year, we started expanding our plastic bottle schools, our plastic bottle lights. And the best part there really was, we were moving throughout the country. So what we said is, why don't we just give the technology away? What would that feel like? What if we were the NGO 2.0? What if we put everything that was needed to know to build it? What would happen?
పిల్లలు కూడా ఇంట్లో ఆడుకుంటున్నారు లోపలికి పోయేసి దీనివల్ల కరెంటు బిల్లు ఆదా అవుతుంది ఇది పెట్టిన తర్వాత కూడా రూమ్ కూడా బాగానే ఎదురుగా కనిపిస్తుంది దీనివల్ల ప్రాబ్లం ఏం లేదు కరెంటు బిల్లు తక్కువ అవుతుంది కరెంటు ఆదా అవుతుంది చూసేదానికి కూడా బాగా కరెంటు బల్బు మాదిరి కనబడుతుంది మా పిల్లలు చదువుకునేదానికి కూడా కరెంటు పోయినప్పుడు ఆ బల్బు దగ్గర పోయేసి బల్బు బాల్ ఉంది అది కూడా దాని దగ్గర పోయేసి కూర్చొని పిల్లలు కూడా ఆడుకుంటుంటారు దాన్నే చూస్తుంటారు కరెంటు పోయినప్పుడల్లా ఇది కరెంటు కంటే కూడా ఫుల్ పవర్ కనిపిస్తుంది.
It is the actions of millions of youth. As you know, most of the world is 25 years and below, but the actions of the empowered youth put all together that probably will make bigger change than a lot of charity put into one place. And these were the changes that were done, and some women have seen the bottles and they said, this is what I throw away, and now this will give me free light for the next 5 to 10 years. Un litro de luz, Brazil!
It's nice to know that you can do it again and again and again. And it grows. And you know you're part of something bigger.
Habéis hecho un trabajo divino.
Cámara y decir, mamá, van a poner más, mamá, está bien esto. Van a poner más, mamá, queda mucha luz.
And the nice thing is we have people from all young people from all over the world. In fact, we don't know. There was one from Bangladesh that just started. And when you put the bottles together and put it next to the solar lights, you have vegetables that you can grow inside the houses. So places without that much land to grow, or people steal the food. And if you put lots of lights in a house, you can grow vegetables, you can grow herbal foods, you can grow flowers. And so even if you get flooded, you have light and you have food. But the nice thing of all is, every environmental day we see the big, I don't want to say Al Gore. Al Gore is great. But less than 1% of the world can afford solar lights and windmills. What they're saying is, while technology is becoming cheaper, maybe we should start out with our own revolutions. Maybe we should look for what works and make a difference today. Because the poorest are the first ones that need green technology, but the last ones that can wait for these changes to be made. And as I said, the most amazing thing is really to see the young people making a change. Because once you empower them, maybe they will believe that the world can be a better place rather than follow the waste that has destroyed it and has caused this kind of large-scale damages. Believe in the dream and at the same time give them a way to achieve that dream. Thank you very much.